from the US and Canada, and then I know some of you are from London. It's 2 hours after midnight, and to those who are from Sri Lanka, very good morning to you. And as you know, today there's no Dhamma talk, but guided meditation. But we will meditate like 45 minutes or so. Then we'll open the Q&A session. You can ask question and answers, and then we will use the closing meditation as well. So, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Once again, today, this Friday session is dedicated to practicing guided meditation. First, we will meditate like 45 minutes, and then we will have a Q&A session. And the last 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we will use for the closing meditation. So, and please sit in a comfortable position, and slowly close your eyes. Leave your palms together on your lap, and then keep your back straight and upright. Drop your shoulders, open your chest, and as the bell goes on, we will take a deeper breath and hold onto it for a few seconds, and then release it. And then I will hit the meditation gong 3 times. Each time as the bell goes on, you will take a longer, deeper breath, hold onto the breath for a few seconds, and then let it go. And that's the way we're going to do. And let's start. With your eyes closed, leaving your palms together on your lap, with your shoulders dropped, with your chest open, with your back straight and upright. With those 3 longer, deeper breaths, and we are now going to slowly disconnect ourselves from our surroundings. And those who are willing to continue with the deeper breath may do so. Everyone else may switch back to your normal breath. As you breathe in and out normally, you keep your attention around the nostrils. And let's practice the warm-up session in silence for 3-4 minutes. Breathing in, holding on to the breath, breathing out, breathing in, holding on to the breath for a few seconds, and then breathing out. As you breathe in and out, as you inhale and exhale normally, slowly start disconnecting yourself from the rest of the world, I mean from your surroundings. Those who are from the US and Canada, it's been another Friday evening, hectic, toasty summertime. And those who are from Sri Lanka, it's the beginning of another beautiful day. Those who are from London, you are 2 hours after midnight. We live in different time zones, but still, whatever the time zone we live in, is worth meditating in one group like this. So the purpose of meditation is to generate, enhance, and develop and enhance self-awareness or mindfulness. In so doing, it is a must that we maintain a certain gap between ourselves, our being, and our surroundings. The purpose of deep breath and is to start to create that little fine gap between our surroundings and our beings. We have our being, ourselves, our selfhood intertwined with or afflicted with the surroundings or the nature anyway. But at the same time, we must be able to maintain our being, our inner peace, by kind of disconnecting ourselves from the rest of from our surroundings. That is why even if you happen to go through some distractions, encounter some distractions, you may not surrender to those distractions, you may not get agitated by them, you may not complain against those distractions. Distractions, as you may know, are twofold: inner or internal, and outer or external. Internal distractions are like anti-focus, thoughts and memories and tendencies of the mind. Outer or external distractions are anything that bothers you, basically different sounds, noise from your surroundings, like telephones ringing, sound from the TV, radio, and sound of the air conditioner running, fan running, the doors opening, your family members talking, walking around, doors opening, traffic moving in the street nearby. If you live under a flight path, aeroplanes flying over, etc. Or maybe some of you might live not far from railway tracks, cargo railway tracks. If we complain against those distractions, we will never be able to meditate. And always look at distractions, both inner and outer, as a source of blessing, as a blessing in disguise. As you are able to focus on your breath, despite all those distractions from within your mind and from your surroundings, and then thereby you build up what is called self-confidence, self-trust. We are used to sounds and noisy surroundings so much in our day-to-day life that at times we feel like left out, or we feel like isolated. When you separate ourselves from the noisy surroundings. But some people have a chronic habit of living with noisy surroundings. But even though it is a good thing in your day-to-day life, that is multitasking, but when it comes to self-improvement, self-awareness, we must develop, cultivate, and enhance our ability to keep ourselves as unshaken as possible within the shaky surroundings. And as the bell goes one more time in a minute, you will start the first session of mindful breath in silence. Before that, we will scan our physical body, starting from the top of the head, and ending with the toes, the tips of our toes. So as you breathe in and out naturally, normally, simply bring your attention to the top of your head. And in your head, mentally relax. Bring the attention to the forehead. Bring the attention to the ears. Bring the attention to the back of the head. Bring the attention to the cheeks. Bring the attention to your nose, to the nose. Bring the attention to the mouth, to the chin, to the entire face, to the front of the neck, to the back of the neck. Relax the entire head and the neck. The purpose of this focus on different areas of the body is just to practice what is called the whole body mindfulness, sabbakaya patisangvedi. Bring attention to the shoulder blades. Drop the shoulders. Bring attention to the arms, to the elbows, to the hands, to the palms, to the fingers, and to the thumbs, fingertips. Bring attention to the shoulder muscles, upper back, Open your chest. Bring attention to the chest muscles. Bring attention to the abdominal muscles, abdominal area. Bring attention to the lower back. Bring attention to the spine. That is very critical when it comes to stress buildup. Bring attention to the hips. Bring attention to the thighs, upper part of the legs. Bring attention to the knees. That's another point where we get stress built up. Bring attention to the calf muscles. To the ankles. To the feet. To the toes. To the toe tips. Once again, let's take a long, deep breath. Hold onto it and breathe out. And at the same time, scan the entire body from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. Let's do that now. And let's do that the second time. And let's do that for the third time. Long, deep breath. Hold onto it and then release. At the same time, scan the entire body from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. And this is called the whole body mindfulness. Sabbakaya patisangvedi. We include our entire physical body within breath awareness, within mindful breath. As you breathe in and out naturally, and then at the same time, in the back of your mind, you have your entire physical body being included in your breath awareness. And at the same time, you observe the said distractions, whether inner and outer, arise and fall. As distractions occur, you simply watch them, but never follow them, never run after them, never define them, never interpret them, never claim the ownership of those distractions, but simply let them go. So as the bell goes on one more time, we will now start the silent session of meditation. At this point, up until the next 15 minutes, there will be no guidance, but we all meditate in silence. In case you feel like you are not breathing at all, that's because due to thorough observation of your breath, a thorough awareness of your breath becomes more refined and so subtle, so refined that you don't feel like breathing. At that point, in case you feel like you are losing your focus on breath, then don't worry. Simply bring your attention around the nostrils and see the distinction between the two breaths, incoming and outgoing. I know some of you are very familiar with mindful breath or anapanasati or the whole body mindfulness, so that you can extend your awareness into other areas of your physical body. Like if you are comfortable enough, you may not only focus on the nostrils where the incoming breath begins and the outgoing breath ends. You can simply follow your breath all the way through the chest area and abdominal area, and you can see the distinction between the two breaths in light of the expansion and shrinking of the said areas. In other words, in response to the incoming breath, you feel the chest and abdominal areas muscles getting expanded. In response to the outgoing breath, you feel the same areas getting shrunken. But don't do that unless you are comfortable doing that. What really matters is that you don't lose your awareness on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out, including the entire physical body within your mindful breath. You continue to practice mindful breath or mindful breath, anapanasati. Sapakaya patisangvedi. Include the entire physical body within your awareness. As you continue with breath awareness, you may at times feel different kinds of sensations. A happy sensation, a sad sensation, a positive sensation, a negative sensation, a mixed sensation, etc. For example, if you feel some aches and pains in your physical body, or some mental or emotional pain, at that point, you can elevate, you can switch to the Vipassana level of breath awareness. And there's a simple guideline. Please listen with undivided attention as you continue. When some pain or aches occur in your physical body or in your mind, do not identify them as your pain, my pain, your ache, my ache, your problem, my problem. Simply call it the pain, the ache. And this is called the Vipassana approach, or the non-subjective approach to your pain, aches and pains, whether mental or physical. And most of the time, we get our physical and emotional pains intensified because subconsciously we value them, we enhance them, we define them, we get them intensified. And always, from a Vipassana approach, the problem of our pains and aches, mental and physical, is the attributed level of pain. Attributed level means, while aches and pains are natural, but we purposely attribute a certain degree of value to them. And as a result, in so doing, you definitely call that my pain, my own pain, my own ache, my own problem. That my part, that ownership part, is the real problem. And instead of calling it your pain, my own pain, my own ache, my own problem, if you can simply use the Vipassana language, non-subjective language, we are subjective anyway, non-subjective language in your head, and then look at your pain not as your own pain, but as the pain, the aches given the moment, the problem, not your problem. And then there can be a disconnection between yourself and what bothers you, those aches and pains. And this is called the non-subjective observation of pains and aches. And you can simply say, as you are focused on your meditation, on your breath, and then as those pains and aches occur, and the moment they arise, the moment they occur, you simply have to tell yourself, convince yourself, there is a pain arising that has arisen. There's an ache that is arising that has arisen. And that pain is me. That ache is me. It's not my pain. It is not my ache. It is not my problem. But there is an ache. There is a pain. There is a problem. And then that problem is becoming me. Given that moment, I am not what I am. I am the problem. I am the aches. I am not I am, but I am the ache. I am not what I am. I am the pain. So, and this is called a simple application of Vipassana, or non-subjective approach or observation of pains and aches. I know it is hard, but let's continue from this point onward until the end of the first session. There will be no guidance and it'll be all silent. And then just to tell you in advance, as you continue, in case some pains or aches occur, simply look at them from a non-subjective approach. Use a non-subjective observation of those aches and pains. And in case you can still cope with those pains and aches, you can simply make a simple adjustment to your posture, the way you are seated, or you may even slowly stand up, slowly stretch out mindfully, and you can go back to sitting. That's another strategy. And let's continue. Please slowly open your eyes. Okay. Now, and we will, during the close meditation, that will we do for during the last 15 minutes, and we will do loving kindness meditation. But the first session was totally dedicated to mindful breath. Now, in case you have questions, you may ask now, and only those asking questions, please unmute yourself.
Bhante?
Yes.
So you talked about the knee as a point of stress in your introduction.
Need.
I'm not quite sure the connection, what that means.
Need. Maybe I say knees.
When we are focusing on starting from the head.
Oh yeah, on your knees.
Yes.
On your knees, yeah. Kneecaps, knees and kneecaps, yeah.
I'm wondering what the stress on the is it when you stand up for too long, or I'm not sure what the connection is.
Oh, you mean, yeah, because according to neuropsychology, there are certain body areas where you get stress build up more easily, like your shoulders, shoulders, your knees and kneecaps, and your spine and your ankles. Yeah, that's why we specifically, those are considered critical areas in our whole body meditation, because we need to specifically, because I have noticed that some people, because when they go through lots of emotional problems, they complain against knee pains, some pains around their spine and their shoulders, their ankles. So it's basically those joints. I think how it happens is that your knees have to bear the weight of your body, and then on top of that, when you get when the negative emotional upheaval can have a negative neurological impact on your knees and kneecaps, because I have had some dialogues on that with some neuropsychologists as well. One neuropsychologist himself told me that he was having some unusual pains around his shoulder muscles, in his shoulders and his knees and kneecaps and his ankles. And then it happens when he was reading for his postgraduate qualifications. So, because those are sensitive areas, and some people get pain so in armpits, in their groin area. Especially it happens to teenagers, both girls and boys, due to hormonal growth. When they get stressed out, and those areas get easily affected.
A very common point of stress is on the shoulders, that's for sure.
Yeah, very common. Yeah, that's why I see when people have fear, they fold their shoulders. That's one way we show our fear biologically. That's one way we biologically respond to our fear, our insecurity. So, and I have seen some people, they are seated, and as they subconsciously respond to their emotional problems, and then they start stretching out their legs and tapping on their kneecaps. And when I noticed that one woman doing that, then I thought instantaneously, I thought about my own personal history. And I also noticed that once I was in the middle of tapping on my knees, I noticed that I was going through some negative emotions. So those are the things that is the kind of personal history that I use to make a resolution when I sit in meditation. I will not let that history bother me. Sometimes people don't have any pain at present at the moment they are meditating. What they do is they get their memories reactivated, and it's like a chronic habit. I know a bunch of people, only when they sit in meditation they happen to complain against their pains. That's because over time they had, instead of letting go, they had attributed some higher value to their pains, and programmed their mind in a way that they were not able to go ahead. That's a clear indication of the mind manipulating us. Manipulating. That's why we need. Though hard, we are supposed to apply that vipassana or non-subjective approach to our aches and pains. That's the whole point that I was thinking when I said that in case there is pains and aches and emotional and physical problems arising during the meditation, try your best to disconnect. Look at them not as your own pains, but as the pain, the ache, the problem given the moment, and then you become that problem. It's not my problem, I am the problem. Because so that based on that, actually that directly corresponds to the Buddha's teaching of the Lakkana, or the three signs of existence: anicca, impermanence; dukkha, unsatisfactoriness; and anatta, no permanent entity called selfhood. Everything is in a state of flux. And then relative. We exist, we value ourselves, we look at ourselves. Our existence is relative to whatever we grasp through our sense faculties. And that's the very definition of meditation, I guess. I think I have mentioned that on different occasions. Remember, I think 3 or 4 times, the Buddha's explanation of meditation according to the Majjhima Nikaya. Always 3 kinds of feelings or sensations: bitter, sweet, bitter, sweet, bitter, sweet, or mix, and they arise every time there's a feeling, and we look at ourselves in light of those feelings. When you are happy, and then say, I am the happy one. When you are sad, I am the sad one. And there's a mixed feeling, and then you feel, I don't understand myself. I don't know what's going on. So those are the 3 types of feelings or sensations. And then whereas when it comes to meditation in silence, and you learn to disconnect yourself from those, you can actually do that in your day-to-day life. You can't even use that language. Otherwise, people might think you are crazy. How could you say that there is a feeling, that feeling is me? Conventionally, it is theoretical. But in actual meditation, it is a reality. This is called a non-subjective approach or vipassana approach, because we are subjective anyway. So as I was mentioning that guideline as to the importance of non-subjective approach, my mind started manipulating me. All of a sudden, the pain in my right knee started coming, and that pain is chronic because due to a fracture around my kneecap when I was like 8 years old. And now it doesn't come that much. Why? Because I could deal with that chronic, the history of that chronic pain. And it was the pain. It is not the pain actually, but the way I approach it. I had told myself that Upananda, you will never be able to get rid of that pain ever. And now I don't tell myself. I reverse that. So it comes very rarely though. It used to come very often. Every time I sat in meditation. And then when I was like 19, 20 years old, when I was learning Vipassana meditation, and then I could, one day I noticed that always around at the 11th or 12th minute, the pain came back. Then I asked myself, why the 11th minute or the 12th? Then I went back to my memories and understood that the first time it happened during halfway through the 11th minute. So I had told myself, and as a result, I had programmed my mind in a way that the pain must arise at the 11th or the 12th minute. I know one good meditator in Singapore. Whenever she sat in meditation, like few minutes later, she would incur a foul smell around her surroundings. Then she would open her eyes and see, well, the surrounding is so beautiful. And of course, before meditation, and there was burning fragrant candle, and she was meditating with fragrant candles burning, and it was all good smell. But only to her, there was this foul smell coming. And later what happens was, and she told me about it, then I inquire into her personal history, asked about her personal history. And she told me like 3 years ago, somebody told her, one of her friends from Malaysia, that whenever her friend sat in meditation, she would encounter a foul smell. And then she got shocked and said, what if happens to me? Instead of listening to it and just listening to it, just letting it go by ignoring it as it not as her own experience, but as experience of her friend, she inflicted that into herself. Ever since, she could not meditate. And that foul smell would come, and at times she thought that it was an evil spirit entering her body. Of course, to get the situation worsened, few people told her that it must be a bad spirit entering her body. Then I told her, no, this is what happened. And then for the next 2 weeks or so, and she would encounter that foul smell, but to a much lesser extent. But eventually it went away. In a way, it never came back. It's all about our mind programming. We program. Why? That's the purpose of meditation too. the deeper you go in your meditation, you can not only deal with those shallow sensations or feelings, you can even, and you will come to a point where the memories get pop up to the surface level, and they get reactivated in the form of sensation or feeling. And then so you can identify them as you continue deeper in meditation. At that point, every time, even though you find it difficult to look at those pains or distractions from a non-subjective or vipassana approach, at least you tell yourself once, okay, it's a pain, it's the pain, but it's not mine. It's not my pain. Most of the time when it comes to our existence, we call, it's unfortunate, by nature, we call even negative pains, negative situations, my own. We claim the ownership. And as a result, we continue to maintain a passive attachment to our problems. And we enjoy that. An ample example is that people, I think I mentioned that before as well, that people prefer to listen to breakup songs than romantic songs. They enjoy breakup songs to a greater extent than songs of romance, love. Why? Because that is a passive attachment. Because you recall your painful memories, and then you put yourself in the victim's mindset, and then you enjoy that. For the moment, it is fascinating. It's like you put yourself on drugs, like this monk's favorite term, like ecstasy drugs, dangerous drugs. So drugs, and then you enjoy that more. And you always, and people enjoy the presence of a friend who suggests that they go out for a drink, than the presence of a friend who say things straight to your face and say that you are wrong. It's like that. Most people prefer to enjoy chronic, painful memories rather than face them and dissolve them. You need to make a conscious effort, a brave effort to face them and to dissolve them. That's part of self-acceptance. Otherwise, there's no way to break the samsara. If I use a Buddhist term, breaking the samsara is very hard because we value our passive connections, our painful memories. Most of emotional pains become chronic. Even chronic physical pains can be dealt with to a certain extent. At least you can remove the attributed degree of pain. The attributed degree of pain means, there is a pain in your knee, in your back, around your spine. Well, that is actual. That's true. You are on medication for that. But again, what if you stop believing that you will never be able to get rid of that? And that is the attributed part of the pain. You create that part. And you conceptualize pain in a way that it gets worsened, it gets intensified. So that's the purpose of using that vipassana terminology or non-subjective language. But in our day-to-day life also, vipassana approach has to be part of our daily attitude. but we find it difficult to apply that into our daily life due to the kind of conventional life that we live. We are conventional beings, but what if we apply that in our meditation? When you apply that non-subjective or vipassana approach to our problems within the meditation time frame, at the very beginning it would be very difficult, but over time you will get used to it, and so used to, and you will be able to acclimatize yourself with that as you sit in meditation, and automatically your mind will remind, okay, this time Upananda you are going to sit, but don't let your negative belief that you can't meditate in beyond 2 hours. Trust yourself. And that message comes quite spontaneously, and that reminds you to not to surrender to those pains that you have claimed the ownership of. Okay. Can I have one more question if you so like. We have 5 minutes, and the last 15 minutes we can dedicate to the closing meditation. Any questions? Any more questions? Please unmute yourself and ask.
Bhante?
Yes, Greg.
Yeah, hi. I expected that you were just going to do a little meditation, but it turns out you actually gave us a whole bunch of great instructions that I don't totally understand. I will soon, but I think we need more instruction on
Yeah, that's right. Actually, that's the purpose. We get a whole bunch of things at the same time, and then we write them down or jot them down, and then on a personal, interpersonal kammatthana, and that's the purpose too. Thank you for asking me that, because the Buddha's teaching technique was such that he would give a bunch of instructions. This is called kammatthana in Pali, Kammatthana, kammatthana. So Kammatthana, long A, you pronounce A longer, Na, kammatthana. Kamma means action. Thana means the place or the moment. Given the moment, how you deal with your behavior, action. Meaning meditation instruction, right? So, and in group sessions, in group teachings, Buddha would give all the general instructions, and then again, Buddha would discuss them individually with individuals from a group. Probably we can have we can discuss them at length, one by one, today some, or maybe later on.
So the word is kammatthana?
Kammatthana, yes. Kamma, T as in Tom, Ha, long A, Na,
Okay.
kammatthana.
Okay. All right, cool. All right.
Kammatthana. Kammatthana means, it specifically means meditation instruction. So, for example, in Pali, meditation instructors are called Kammatthana Acharya. Acharya is the instructor or the guru or the teacher. The guru or teacher who gives you Kammatthana, meaning given your personality type, given the way you want to meditate, and then the teacher gives you a personalized guidance. So that's called group kammatthana and personalized kammatthana, two different things. Always after a group session, individual members of a group work with the instructor or the teacher in a way that the teacher would be able to tell the individual member what type of personality he is, and what sort of meditation object they want to stick to. and then the kind of difficulties they face given their socio-cultural background, physical conditions, etc., etc.
So Bhante, as a follow-on question to that, how do you decide what kammatthana that is appropriate for oneself?
Actually, you need to have an intense, in-depth dialogue with the teacher. In-depth dialogue with the teacher, and the teacher would say, because there are different personality types. Actually, we will have a discussion on that in the near future. But for now, for example, there is this called angry personality type, romantic personality type, devotional personality type, confused personality type, intellectual personality type. There are different personality types, and those types are we call personality archetypes. You know, Carl Jung. I prefer Jungian psychology over Sigmund Freudian psychology.
Me too.
So that Carl Jung talks about these archetypes, personality types, and different. And in Buddhism also, you come across universal archetypes of humanity, human archetypes. And then so that the Carl Jung's description goes hand in hand with the Buddhist definition of personality types. So, and then given the personality types, and then you need specific guidance that would help you to meditate. And then there are, for one example is Vitakka, V-I-T-T-A, no, V-I-T-A-K-K, Vitakka means, Vitakka means a personality type, a kind of personality of which, and the Vitakka personalities, they are highly intellectual, but at the same time, they make a decision and they put themselves on the second thought. They make a decision and they are having second thoughts. So that's the nature. And then that type of that personality types is driven by, how to say, uncertainty. And then devotional personality type, at times, even in spiritual practice, they are on a head-on collision. And then so that they are extremely devotional. They are not rational. They don't use their reasoning. And then so those intellectual personality types, an intellectual personality type is too intellectual, and then they even use hair-splitting arguments. Whereas devotional personality type, that is quite that's the very opposite, the exact opposite of the intellectual personality type. They don't use reasoning at all. Intellectual personality type uses too much reasoning. So given the personality type, we need to decide. You need to decide which type of meditation that suits you.
So we have a tool that's called the Myers-Briggs, which sort of brings up some of those personalities, I guess, for oneself.
Yeah. Yeah. So that it's always good to have the background knowledge. Also, you have to read some literature, background, and also how in kammatthana, in interpersonal kammatthana, how you learn about your personalities. You voluntarily describe yourself to the teacher, who is supposed to pay absolute attention. The teacher is supposed to be a good listener, and then so that you keep explaining, and it has to be a trustworthy friend anyway, right? Kalyana Mitta, trustworthy spiritual friend. And so that always you need to talk to someone who who guarantees your privacy. I mean, he doesn't share your information with anyone else. I have thousands of personal files in my head, and so that when one day I die, when I die, all those files will be gone with me. I mean, the people's personality types, and then so that at that point you leave your ego behind, and you open up and honestly tell the very person that you are talking to now, the very person who is listening to you, and then the kind of problems you have in your decision making, and how far you are having second thoughts, your fears, your talents, how your fear or insecurity overrides your decisions. So that would help you to come up with a better meditation technique. Actually, there are not many techniques, but the way we use them is different approaches that we use.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, thank you. Now there are 10 minutes left, and let's do our closing meditation. So that being said, let's take a deep breath. Leave our palms together on our lap, with our back straight and upright, with shoulders dropped, with our chest open. Take a few long, deeper breaths as we did at the beginning, just to disconnect ourselves from the surroundings. At this point, we will blend a sense of self-metta into our breath. Most of the time, we fall victim to someone else's attitude, someone else's behavior, someone else's decision making. We fall victim and remain a victim of the system that we are part of. And at times, even no matter how knowledgeable you are, how capable you are, you don't feel like you don't see a way out. At that point, in order for you to maintain your mind-body health, in order for you to maintain your physical and emotional health, you need to trust yourself and make a firm aspiration to take care of yourself. And that is achieved by radiating a sense of unconditional love towards your own self. And you have done that metta a lot. And in metta or loving kindness meditation, what you do is you radiate a sense of unconditional love towards yourself at the first place. Then you go through other steps. But today you don't go to other steps, but you simply stick to the first step. That is self-metta. As you breathe in and out, as you watch your breath mindfully, by including your entire physical body together with the aches and pains and problems that occur within, you radiate a sense of unconditional love towards yourself. As you continue with mindful breath, you incorporate a sense of self-metta, and you maintain that sense of self-love in the back of your mind. Breathe in, breathe out, including your entire physical body, hence the whole body mindfulness. You say to yourself in your head a phrase like this: even if there are people who can come to my rescue, even if I don't have anyone to help me out, whether or not I have people to come to my rescue, beyond a certain point, it's my sole responsibility to take care of myself. And then I should not be codependent on someone else. While I appreciate other people's help to me, assistance, at the same time, I must also understand that they have to deal with their own problems. I must trust myself, even if there are selfless people lining up to help me. At the same time, while I appreciate their help, I need to trust myself. I need to build up my self-confidence. And so that there's no point complaining against myself. The more I complain against myself, I get further engulfed in denial. It's like diving in the dark ocean in order to never to return to the surface level. It's like a deep end. So it should not happen to me. So I must take care of myself happily. I must trust myself. May I be well. May I be happy. In case I have to make some action, take some action to make myself happy without hurting others, I will go for that. In case I happen to leave certain people, remove certain people from my life, otherwise they would continue to bother me, I will do that with lots of in kindness to them. I'm not angry with them, but I let them go. I don't keep them on my head. I'll go myself. May I take care of myself happily. May I listen to myself. May I understand myself. May I trust myself. May I never surrender to fear. May I accept myself by accepting my weaknesses. May I never let my egoism to rule me over. I will never let that happen. I should take care of myself happily. Choose one of those phrases, all of them or some of them, or your own phrase, metta phrase. Like you can also use the question form, like the interrogative form. Have I ever been happy? Have I complained against myself? Have I been too egoistic? Have I ever listened to me? If not, I must listen to myself. If I have been egoistic, I should stop being that. Have I ever trusted myself? If not, I must start trusting myself. And that while you go through, read those phrases in your head, and at the same time, you create a subtle sense of self-love that you send throughout your body. Just like as you continue with your whole body mindfulness, and you also do the whole body metta. You include your entire physical body, your entire selfhood within the sense of metta. As the bell goes on one more time, we will do silent self metta and mindful breath for the rest of the time. If you are really relaxed, you will feel smile across your face. And please slowly open your eyes. Sharing of merit. Let's share merit with all living beings. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful wherever they are. Just like I want to be happy, just like I know the value of inner peace, I want everyone else to live in inner peace. Ittavata cha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta numodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe satta numodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Sharing words with the departed friends and relatives. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Sharing merits with among ourselves. Imena punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patya. And as we share the merits among ourselves, may we look at each other in the eyes of kindness. Instead of criticizing others, may we help each other. Just like I may want to be offended, I should not offend others. Just like I never want anyone to be jealous of me, I will never be jealous of others. Just like I never want anyone to envy us, I will never envy others of their success. As we all are human beings, we all need happiness. And may we be well, happy, and peaceful. My blessings to you, and have a beautiful night to those who are from West Coast and from USA and Canada and from London. To those from Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and Australia, have a beautiful day. Thank you.